Hello, guys. Welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Lori Lothian, and today we're talking about the Scorpio full moon, which happens to be under the light of an auspicious and very spiritual star and connecting to a couple of interesting points in the sky, particularly the goddess of healing and wellness and health, Hygeia, and also to Vesta, the Vestal flame of devotion. I want to bring those into our discussion of this moon. Please stick around for the all signs portion of the reading and the timestamps in the description box below and pinned in comments. You want to look at your ascendant sign first, your rising sign, and then your moon or sun. Best to look at your moon if you're born in the night, and if it's daytime when you're born, the sun. So that's my instruction. Now, I will spend a few minutes on each of the signs going through how this moon might affect you, this full moon. But I'm also going to start off by talking about the general concepts and ideas behind this Scorpio full moon that we're coming up for in this week ahead. So before I begin, I also want to tell you I've got a bunch of stuff down below in my description box that might interest you. One, I created an amazing course called the Divine Timing Masterclass, and I hope you guys want to sign up for it. It's an amazing program. I'm so excited to teach it live. I've been working on it for the last 2 weeks, and it is going to be a lot of fun to teach. So check out the description box below. That class is 4 Saturdays in a row in the month of May, starting May 8th. It's taught live. It's interactive. We're going to look at charts. We're going to look at your charts, and I'm going to explain how to use the 4 masterclass techniques for divine timing your life using astrology. And it's not for experts. I'm writing and creating this class and teaching it for beginners. You get to keep the content. You don't have to be on the actual live calls because you'll get the access to it later. And it's all going to be uploaded into my teaching platform at Hygeia, where you can have evergreen access to either download or rewatch, and PDF worksheets and all of that, and a private Facebook group and a bunch of live calls on Facebook with me as well. So there you go. And I'm hoping you guys will be interested in that. I'm really excited. I'm really, really jazzed to teach something that teaches, that expression, right? Give a man a fish or teach him to fish. As an astrologer, practicing for many years, and particularly a lot in the last 3, people often ask me questions that I wish I could just tell them how to look at that and look for that answer themselves. Figure it out for themselves, believe it or not. And that's why I'm excited, because it gives more power to you as an astrology fan to do your own chart and the charts of your friends and your family and all of that. So let's talk about this moon. So I'm going, and it's not quite summer here, but you can see I'm trying to make it happen. I'm in Montreal, and I'm trying to make the weather feel like I'm in summer. This is my hopeful outfit. So I'm going to share a picture of the actual sky on our moon with a lot of stuff missing, because I don't want to complicate the chart with unnecessary pictures. So one of my favorite expressions these days is, may the sky tell you true stories. I made that up. It's kind of my new sign off, because the sky is telling us stories all the time. At the time of our birth, it's a story of who we are. And in the sky, as we all live through it now, it's a sky of the story of what's going on for all of us collectively and of course individually. So the sky on this Scorpio full moon of April the 26th, roughly in Vancouver, Canada at 8:30 p.m. So just for your time zone, Eastern Standard Time, it'd be 11:30 p.m. Eastern Daily Time, I should say. And as you can see in this picture, there's some formations, right? There's a triangle and a wedge. That's a difficult angle thing called a difficult or challenging or T-square that can create some grit that greatness can grow from. And this is also tension, but being resolved in a harmonious way with the blue lines. That's Vesta, the Vestal flame, the sacred flame of devotion, and something we're devoted to, an ember of fire we wish to keep alive, a hearth fire. And this is Hygeia, daughter of Asclepius, a great healer who was a grandson of Zeus. She, with her sister Panacea, I believe, were both his children. She was known all over the ancient world as kind of the everyday walking goddess. You could go petition Hygeia, yes, like hygiene, for wellness for your loved ones. And they had many, many altars all over the ancient world for her. So she was very popular with the people. And she's at a tip of a T-square with this full moon, sun opposite moon at 7 degrees of Scorpio. So something for the collective is trying to be resolved. Something for the collective is trying to be, through a gritty tension, healed. And of course, we're in the middle, hygiene of a pandemic, and a lot of places in the world are having a resurgence of the variants. And so this could be expressing some of that tension here. And that gritty tension that's building and building in that T square, right, is going to find its resolution. And I'm wondering if some of the resolution doesn't come through Vesta, the Vestal flame, in this harmonious wedge where the same tension of the full moon that is, outpicturing as crisis, conflict, and challenge and health and hygiene is finding some sweet spot here. Now let's talk a bit about the actual place that moon sits in the sky at 7 degrees of Scorpio, because there's a star right there called Gacrux. Now, it's an interesting star because I haven't been able to find a lot about it. So the creator of this particular software has her own or his own, not the creator, but there's a person named him, I think, Roderick Kidman, for this software. And what Roderick says, I hope I'm not moving my picture around too much, about Gacrux is this. I'm going to also share something from a book of mine, but it is a star in the Southern Cross, marking the top of the cross. It means manifestation, challenges that bring spiritual impulse into reality, serious, responsible, hardworking, low tolerance for fools, and doing the higher work with vision and courage. All right, that's one interpretation of what that star behind that moon in the sky means. Another interpretation comes from one of my favorite books, if you're into the stars, by Elizabeth Hazel, called The Little Book of Fixed Stars. Okay, you can sort of see it with this camera. And she has a very short description of the star. And what she says about Gacrux is virtuous, spiritual, manifest visions, desire to understand the motives of others, and strong intuition. You see a lot of spiritual, intuitive energy with the star. And doing the spiritual work with vision and courage. So there's something very deep into this energy of this moon that has to do with the non-ordinary or the non-muggle part of reality. And Scorpio in its own right likes to dig under the surface, and get the heck out of the surface level to the deeper levels. And things like occult mysteries and magic are very Scorpionic sometimes. And so I think there's a little bit of magic juice and depth of spirituality that we're all being given a chance to tap into on this full moon. And, the full moon itself is kind of a culmination of something that would have begun roughly 6 months ago in the Scorpio new moon cycle, right? So that would be in Scorpio season in the fall. So you can always dovetail these things. They always connect in some way. So there was an eclipse, a lunar eclipse, and that would have been, no, forget it. Forget what I just said, because that was a Sag Gemini moon corridor. So if you go back to Halloween season and look at a Scorpio new moon back then, you will be able to sort of say to yourself what was going on during the Scorpio new moon in the fall of 2020 that may be culminating in this new moon right now. Sometimes it's very clear, and sometimes you cannot necessarily connect that 6 month apart dot. But anyway, just a suggestion. So one of the things I want to say here is that you can see that the sun is well accompanied, right? There's a stellium. The sun is not hanging out by itself. It is with Uranus and Venus and Mercury. And Venus and Mercury have already passed through the Uranian portal of jolting, electrifying, shocking, tower-like energy. Let's see how that played out, in the collective field. But now the sun is on its way, 3 degrees away, engaged from the jolting, shocking, surprising, awakening, unexpected, original, inventive, freedom-loving Uranian energy. And that sun is with that Uranian energy so close at hand in an oppositional relationship to a Scorpio moon, which would say, Scorpio moon might say, I want to go really deep. I want to nest into the unknown. I want to get my inner visionary going. I want to touch base with the non-ordinary. I want to join Hogwarts and stuff like that. The moon has got more of that Scorpionic temperament here, or I want to keep my secrets. And, when the sun, I don't want to be comfortable in that place of my watery, creative, spiritual, intuitive, and imaginative depths. Okay. But then we got the sun on the other side, in very grounded, practical, realistic Taurus, wanting to bring practical and realistic and material and tangible somethings to bear on the story, in an Uranian way, inventive, original, freedom loving, unexpected, jolting, shocking, surprising way. So I kind of feel that you can pretty well count on this full moon giving us a couple of weeks within the orb of after the moon, as the sun comes into contact with Uranus. We're pretty well going to expect something jolting in our lives, each of us, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Benefic Venus, master of her own house, living in Taurus, where she has dominion, it's her home, is the lord of the house. Everybody else is a visitor, okay? And so she is a benefic. She is in her own home. So she will temper the shocking, surprising, jolting energy that Uranus can bring with sweetness, succor, pleasure, abundance, maybe money, good relationship outcomes, play, fun, pleasure, sensuality are all Venus things, currencies as well. Yeah, Uranus, Venus, all that stuff, Mercury, mercantile commerce. This could be a very disruptive time for sure in the currency markets, especially the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency in the couple of weeks after this moon. Disruptive or accelerating, I don't know which. Certainly Uranus is change anyway. So keep that in mind. And, if I want to say, like, let me just take a quick peek, I'm going to fast forward this baby and get down with it's roughly 3 days that Uranus will combine with that sun, or sun will meet up with Uranus. So yeah, so coming into that on the 29th. So that could be where we see what this moon is really for. Around the 29th and 30th, we begin to get our hands around this mysterious scorpionic thing that wants to duke it out with the sun. Now, last I want to say is that we're going to go all signs in a minute. And don't forget, your rising sign is the best. And don't forget to check my description box below for my Divine Timing Masterclass for 4 Saturdays. Replays available. It's one course over 4 different weekends. And I think you guys will love it. Description box below. And it's really affordable. Believe me, for all the power packed punch of content that I'm putting in there, good for beginners. You'll love it. You'll love it. All right. So this Vestal flame, Vesta, Hestia, keeper of the hearth, the Vestal virgins who kept the sacred flame alive in ancient Rome, tended the sacred fire. I always find in my own life, she can sometimes be in a celibate single female energy, maiden energy, but I find that it's where I am best served to spend time tending something, right? Just like you wouldn't want the fire to go out on the campfire, or you wouldn't want the burner to go off on your stove, especially if it's a fire burner, you want your fire to be lit, basically, right? You don't want your Bic lighter to be empty. And she's kind of that vibe, and you got to keep the little flame going. So I find in my own life that the Vestal flame place where she is in the house of my children, my 5th house, and the house of romantic love, and the house of self-expression when it comes to creative arts, is important to me. And those are places where I tend the flame. I sometimes think I overtend my children. I'm a little bit of an over-functioning mom, but because I have a Vestal flame there, I feed them a lot. Did you know that Vesta is really, I've done this research, guys, it's in my own database. If you are a chef, that's a profession or a passion, you're going to have a strong Vesta, usually in the 4th house or on the IC, because in whole sign houses, your ascendant and midheaven, your IC midheaven can float, like my IC is in my 5th house, the root of my chart. So, okay, so let's get going. Hang on, water break. I'm going to point to where the tension is in your all signs, where this healing has to happen, physical, mental, emotional, or physical from this moon. I'm going to talk about where you might have a jolt of something surprising here and here. And I'm going to talk about the Vestal flame that you should tend to smooth up the ruffles. Okay, so let's get going. I think I'm just going to start with Scorpio because it's in front of us and it just makes sense. You don't always have to have Aries first, right? Scorpio, sun, moon, and ascendant. Before I tell you anything, don't forget to check out my all signs description in my description box below. Don't forget to check out my Divine Timing Masterclass. It is a steal of a deal, and you're going to learn how to do a bunch of divine timing in your own chart based on really cool techniques, some of them very rare, some of them ancient, some of them modern, over my 4-week course. And I think it's live and it's going to be fun to teach. And you can bring your chart and we will be talking live about things. I'll be doing chart demonstrations with real live participants. All right, here we go. So I think for you Scorpio folk, what you're dealing with here is that you're experiencing the identity thing. It's the moon with Gacrux, that spiritual star in your house of who am I, my physical body, my personality, my sense of self, basically. And, you know, you guys are having kind of a tension between what others think of you or expect of you and what you know or want to do or be yourself. And, you know, that's the seventh house of significant others, like your spouse or your allies, your friends, your business partners, sometimes your clients and audience and stuff. So that inner tension between what's demanded of you by others and expected and what you want and feel inside of yourself is critically squaring off with the goddess of healing in your career. So some of you Scorpio ascendants and sun and moon people may be feeling at a push-pull and at odds with your career path. You might be thinking, like, I'm not really sure about this thing, you know, like, is this the right direction for me? And you might even have to heal something in that thing called my career, my purpose, or my workplace, you know, or my reputation. And you're looking for a resolution. You're looking to clean it up. You're looking for career hygiene, you know, and you want to be more in alignment with yourself and this depth of this moon that's looking into its navel with Gacrux, spiritual aspirations, courage, and all of that. Doing the higher work with vision and courage. And the resolution energy, well, first of all, and also like whenever this tension is about, roughly the 29th and 30th of the month of April, 3 days after the moon, when the sun hits that Uranus point, you might find the outpicturing of what is being asked to be addressed in this career, self, other triangle that's a tension place. And I not really addressing for most of people the Saturn part, but I will say one thing here. That's just Saturn squaring that stellium. Saturn can bring it down to earth, can make it real, can give it practical form. So whatever bolts out of the blue and jolts out of the blue, maybe 3 days after this moon for you, don't be afraid of grounding it in the earth, so to speak. Saturn in the fourth house for you, bringing it home, grounding it on the root of you, maybe in your own home. It could mean actually a change in your, the work situation that affects your home as well. Now, tend a sacred flame. Okay, what flame do you Scorpios tend right now, or should you tend for resolution of tensions? Tend the flame of your friendships and your social circles. It's tough to do in a pandemic, but the 11th house is allies and friends who benefit us, our benefactors who are our allies. And we get those by having groups of people to whom we belong, a house of social belonging. And, you know, it is the house of your hopes, dreams, and wishes. Have you lost the fire of your hopes, dreams, and wishes? Has the fire gone out? If so, time to stoke it, time to burn up that, you know, tend that fire and get it burning again. What are your true hopes and dreams and wishes? All right. Scorpio, you got a lot of airtime here. I'm going to move on. Okay. So because I've got to get everybody done in half an hour. So let's move to the next sign. And it helps if I get it to the hours, Lori. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and especially rising sign. You guys are having this moon in a deep interior place. This is the place of your dreams at night, your inner life, your visions, your imagination. This is a house of your self-undoing, and the moon there can be your emotional habits and patterns that are not working in your behalf, like substances that give you temporary dopamine hits but long-term discomfort and anxiety, like alcohol. So where are some of you Sagittarians having to look more clearly at patterns and habits that undo you, that are against your best interest, but also, you know, moon in the 12th house, you may have to care for a female who's also going through a hard time in a hospital setting or in a health setting of some kind, including maybe your own mom. So just going to not mince words there. Now, also, if you're to enlightenment, this is an enlightenment house, and the moon there could bring a breakthrough, a fullness, a culmination of some process towards spiritual attainment that you may have begun to dig into about 6 months ago in the fall of 2020. You can see that 3 days from this moon, around the 29th and 30th of April, you're going to have a jolt as the sun comes into Uranus that really sheds some clarity and electrifying energy and awakens you in some way to what is going on in this deep hidden place within your own self, the 12th house. And, you know, because you as the first house individual can't see, or you're in aversion to your 12th house, this Uranus thing will pretty well feel like something that hit you out of the blue. I mean, I don't think this is one of those things that you can sense into. When Uranus hits the sun and the sun hits Uranus, a jolt of the unexpected, especially for Sagittariuses. The tension where the hygiene has to take place, Hygeia, is in your house of foreign lands, book publishing, spirituality, wisdom, knowledge, God, higher education. You know, for some people, it could also be the keyword international, if your life is somehow international. It's a Dharma house too. Like, what is your true calling? What's the meaning of life? What is it? It's your soul. It's the house of your soul, the house of God. So, you know, are you not, do you have to clean up your spiritual house? You know, this is a very spiritual story. Moksha house, right? Is your 12th house. And this is a house of Dharma and soul. Moksha meaning spiritual liberation, Dharma, soul, truth, God, wisdom, higher knowledge. So you might have to attend to this deep spiritual element of your life that may have been languishing because you've been so busy in your work. 6th house is your workaday routines, your workplace, your place of employment, your place of your employees, that kind of thing. A sweet spot is the fire. Tend the fire of your 10th house. Now, the 10th house is the actual career zone of the chart. It can also represent your reputation and your status, especially if the midheaven is there natally. So you're looking at your kind of what fire in the career path are you needing to ignite, to burn, or to keep alive that has a sweetness, and it resolves some of this tension in this chart between the moon and the sun. Is there somebody that you need to warm up and sweeten up in your workplace, like tend the fire of a relationship within the workplace, in the career place or the office or all of that, or with a higher up even, that needs to be done in order to support resolution and sweetness in this part of the chart. If your reputation has been tarnished lately, it's time to also fire it back up. Okay, and that's what I'm going to say. In your work reputation. Capricorn sun, moon, and ascendant. Don't forget, check out the description box below for my Divine Timing Masterclass. I think you guys will really love it. It's practical. You love practical. It'll tell you how to look at the rhythms and timing of your life for luck and for a bunch of stuff, you know, and make decisions, and don't have to consult an astrologer because I'll teach you how to do it. All right. So Capricorn, sun, moon, and ascendant. This is a time for you that you're going to feel this full moon energy in the 11th house of your hopes and wishes and your dreams and your goals, friends and allies and benefactors, and community and tribe to whom you and which you belong, as well as financial gain from your career. Now, a full moon could outpicture some financial gain, great gains even from your career path or your work that you do, some of you Caps, but also because there is this Uranian element that 3 days after the moon, 29th and 30th kind of thing of April, you know, the sun hits Uranus, this moon then is promising a second jolt or a later on jolt of some kind of breakthrough, some kind of clarity, some kind of originality, some kind of luck, because you see, this is a luck axis. The 5th house is a lucky house, and so is the 11th. So I have a feeling that for you Caps, this is a good thing. And the 5th house is money luck and speculative luck as well, and great gains up here. So we can see this as a possible with Venus at home, the goddess of money in that stellium, in a luck house, especially a money luck. There could be some really good money luck coming for one of you Capricorns, and it could come through a female, by the way. Sometimes it's very literal. Money, sudden money luck bestowed upon you through a female friend or ally or a romantic partner or something like that. Now, you also have this energy of the tension of the hygiene that you need to put into place, right? In this part of your chart, Hygeia in your 8th house. Now, you can bring down this tension and bring it down to earth in some way with some help from Saturn in your money house. How do you need to tidy up your money story in terms of revenue, earnings, and money that you acquire through, you know, the actual thing you do, or through the work you're doing, your salary, your paycheck, that kind of thing. And so there might be bringing things into the earth plane of well, I wouldn't say earth, I mean, but Saturn is bring it into reality and make it tangible. So we got a money story going on though. So money in your 2nd house, these are money houses 5 and 11, and Hygeia is in a money house. And this Hygeia is in your hygiene of your finances, when it comes to taxes, when it comes to bank statements, when it comes to investments, when it comes to loans and mortgages. You have to clean up some of your Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants, your financial hygiene. Yes, you do. But it's all good because you got a lot of luck energy going on at the same time. So you can clean it up and maybe experience luck. You might want to tend the sacred flame over here of that ninth house, your spiritual life, basically your dharma, your purpose, your attention to soul, to God. That serves you to really focus on the Vestal flame. More focus there, less focus necessarily on the tangible money story, which can maybe cause you to lose sleep, and lean into soul and to God and to truth and to wisdom and spiritual knowledge, I would say. Okay. Some of you, this flame might be, you want to learn something, right? Ninth house. What do you want to learn? Do you want to take a course or study with a mentor or teacher in a spiritual or magical or health field? Just add a little Virgo to the mix. All right, moving on. So I'm an Aquarius rising. We Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants are dealing with a Scorpio moon in our 10th house of career, full moon lighting it up at the very top. It's very interesting for me because I have Neptune on this Scorpio point. So it's lighting up my natal 10th house Neptune. And for some people, anyone born where I was in 1962 will have the same thing going. Neptune is 62, was close to the 11-degree mark. But you know, here we see that the tension between the sun and the moon is in the opposition between the home, the root, the domestic life, and the career, the out expression, the reputation, the status part of the chart. And, you know, it's funny because I'm doing this video today. I got 2 clients after this, and I had to actually really grab myself up by the bootstraps out of my bed and make myself get here. Like, it was like, no one's my taskmaster. I'm self-employed. I live alone at home. And it was just, I wanted to be in my bed. I wanted to be snuggled in the covers doing nothing. I didn't want to go to work, right? And so I'm glad I'm here, but you know what I mean? And so this tension between career and home energy is coming to a critical energy. And there is that Hygeia, the hygiene in the 7th house of other, you know, our clients, our audience, our significant others, if you have a boyfriend, spouse, or, you know, that kind of thing. And attention to that audience, client, other, spouse. And the tension is there, but the hygiene is there as well. How do we heal it and bring it wholeness and clean it up and make it hygienic? And I guess for me, I think a lot of that has to be about defining my audience. I'm just using me as an example, guys, because I am an Aquarius rising. You know, I love my clients, but I also love teaching. And I used to do a lot of teaching of other things before I did astrology almost full time in the last 3 years. And I'm going back to that. I'd like my clients to be students as opposed to, you know, just clients. And so I'm hygienically trying to shift my focus of who I interact with in that 7. So a lot of you, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants, and so your time, it's our time, right? The big grand conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter in December at 0 Aquarius, we got the initiation. It's us leading, like we're the head goose on the V for all of humanity. All the Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants, we're leading the way, folks. So, you know, for me, it's changing my hygiene of my audience. Now, and all Aquarians with the Saturn transit through our 1st house, this is where we bring things into anchored, realistic, sober-minded, tangible manifestation form. Now, this Saturn is our body, right, in our 1st house. So we focus on the physical and the wellness too, and the strength of our bodies. And we also focus on the strengths of understanding who we are. So that's for us Aquarians. The jolting energy coming from the 4th house in 3 days, right? Where the sun hits that a Uranian bit, and you know, Venus and Mercury have already been here, jolting that 4th house. This is a big deal. This is a big deal for Aquarius rising because it's on the stakes of the chart, the kentrons, the cardinal angles. So for me, I had this, oh my effing God, excuse my language, Venus Uranus moment that I said, I'm moving back to Vancouver after my stay in Montreal for almost 2 years. Funny enough, I didn't see it coming, guys. And all the circumstances that led up to it were quite disturbing emotionally for me. Everything's okay. Nobody's sick and everyone's healthy, but it's just other stuff. Okay. So it was this jolt of Venusian, oh my God, it's time for me to move again. Anyone who has Uranus transiting through the 4th house is called the nomad transit. And it's 7 years of not staying put. All right, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Don't forget, grab my Divine Timing Masterclass. Look below. It's 4 weeks in May. It's live. Replays available. Evergreen access to it forever and ever afterwards. Once it's happened, you always get it. You don't lose it. If you can't make all the classes, you still get it. You just won't be there live. That's all. But the content will be yours forever. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, you can see that you're looking at this energy of this full moon culminating in the 9th house of God, soul, truth, and dharma, foreign lands, foreign travel, pilgrimages, mentors and guides, spiritual teachers, higher education. Some of you Pisces people, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, will be looking for something to culminate there. But the jolt of change and the awareness of where it comes from is going to be more likely 29th and 30th of April, when the sun comes onto the Uranus jolt of light, the tower and the tarot kind of bolt of energy. So yeah, there's that. Now it's coming from your 3rd house of siblings and local travel and the local neighborhood, and sometimes selling and marketing things. So just keep that in mind. The jolting energy is down in your local environment. It could involve a sibling, right? For instance, especially with Venus there, that might be a sister involved in something for some of you Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants. And so maybe some jolting news from a sibling that helps you aspire to greater heights in your 9th house of Dharma and purpose in life. Why are you here? Why are you here? And hygiene, clean up your house of work. Your house of health protocols and work protocols. Alrighty. So this jolt is coming from maybe the 3rd, could be a sibling, and it could help, or it could be a local neighborhood person, or it could be some communication that comes through a social media platform. And it will allow you to clean up the house of your health and work protocols, the 6th house. Now, sweet spot, tend the sacred flame of your clients, your audience, your other, and your spouse, your partner. Are you neglecting that person? Some of you Pisces are so transcendent and inwards and mystical and floating. I know you guys. You forget about the detail called, oh, my husband or my wife. So love them up, pay attention. That's a flame you want to tend right now. It is a place of goodness. It breaks some of the lunar solar tension. All right. And this also applies to clients. If you have an audience and clients, love them up, tend the flame, build it. All right. Did I say to check my Divine Timing Masterclass yet? Description box below. I think you'll love it. I really do. I really, really do. It teaches you how to see the best times for luck and opportunity and where the pitfalls are, which is always good to know, and how to navigate through space and time with awareness. All right, moving forward. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, you're having this experience of a full moon in your 8th house of taxes and banking and loans and money and, all that kind of stuff, inheritances. Now, for a lot of Aries, this could just be very much about tax season, right? We're in the tax season for most places in North America anyway. And I'm an Aries, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. I'm definitely in that moment right now, my accountant. So, but the full moon sheds light, right? And it reveals and it blooms out something. So it's not always a bad thing to have a full moon in a money house. Now, what you also have going on, Aries rising sun and moon, is 3 days or so from the moon on the 29th or 30th of April, a jolt, right? Like a little spark of energy coming from the house of earnings and money. All right. Now, this is a money house. And that's a money house. So there could be some jolt of money that's good for you, because Venus, benefic, all loving, all knowing, wise woman, Venus, a goddess of currencies and money, and Taurus is likely to want to lend support to this energy. And she's trying to make sweetness happen here. So I'd say it's a good thing. Okay. It's a good energy, a jolt of good energy for you around earnings or money or revenue that's going to be asking for some kind of attention. And, you're going to have the energy of the hygiene, cleaning up the 5th house. Now, 5th house is speculative risks with money. It's independent business enterprise, being your own business person. It's lovers and sex partners, and it's your children. And you may have to do some kind of hygiene around that area of your life to clean it up a bit. I'll just leave it up to you to figure out what needs to be cleaned up in your love life, with your children, and with your independent business enterprise or your money speculation. The Vestal flame is shining in your sixth house of work and health protocols. You know, it's a great time to give up gluten or, you know, some food that doesn't serve you or some substance that doesn't serve you, because that can often happen when we have a sixth house activation. And your work routines, what are they? Like, you know, I'm going to start the miracle morning. I'm an Aries sun and moon. I'm going to get down with like getting up at 6 a.m. I did today every single day. So what routines really serve your wellness and your work routines as well? That's the sacred flame. Burn it, tend it, find the way there. It will serve you. You can bring things into tangible form through allies and friends as benefactors with Saturn up here in your 11th. Your hopes, dreams, and wishes are trying to take form right now. That's a theme for you guys until March of 2003, where Saturn's going to sober you up to make realistic choices to bring your hopes, goals, and dreams to life and make them real. Yay for you. And friends as benefactors and allies, like my Divine Timing Masterclass. I'm asking a couple of friends to share it with their mailing list. So are you wanting to take my Divine Timing Masterclass on May the 8th and every Saturday for 4 Saturdays? Think about it. Check the link in the description box below. Go read about the class. I think you'll like it. I love when I get Aries in my classes. I've had a few of them because you guys are so willing to jump right in and say me first when I say who would like their chart to be read in this class. So I hope to see some of you Aries there. Taurus, sun, moon, and ascendant. So moon in the 7th, it's about your primary significant other. Now, it could be the one other or the others, because and this is where we have business partners. This is where we have clients and you know, audience, if we have an audience. So you Taurus, sun, moon, and ascendant people, this is going to really take your attention towards someone else in your life. With a full moon in the house of other, or your clients, or your spouse, etc., or your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant committed relationship energy is demanding attention in some way. And the light of a full moon is shining there, bringing to light something. And the jolt of energy coming on the 29th or the 30th or so of April is going to maybe really, really open your eyes to see something in relationship that you weren't seeing clearly. And it's, you know, with Venus in your house of your body, for you Taurus, sun, moon, ascendants, if you've been struggling with issues with health, this is a good time for you. She'll be there until the first week of May and the first week of May, and she's trying to soothe and beautify and support your physical body because she's good at that kind of thing. And she's your ruler of your chart, right? And she's in your first house where she's got her hands in your physical wellness. I do think that with the Uranus energy 3 days away from the actual full moon, that this jolt of light that comes from Uranus could be also a breakthrough insight for you around your physical wellness and how to maintain it around the 29th or 30th. And as well, a jolt of light about a significant other. And it doesn't have to be good or bad, because Venus will make it good no matter what. So if something demands a breakup, it's good, okay? Because Venus is doing you a service here. All right, just saying. And if it's a union, it starts out, if you're a single Taurus, sun, moon, or ascendant, it could begin a new and very significant relationship. Now, the hygiene, you got to clean up, is your 4th house. That's your home. That's where you live. Get the sock drawer organized, sweep and mop and clean. The full moon's asking you to clean up your domestic life. Now, that can be physically clean the house. It can also be make better health protocols in the home, like get an air purifier, throw out the garbage, sanitize the bathroom, you know, that kind of thing. Sanitize your relationship with your family of origin and your mom especially. Okay. The Vestal flame is shining in your natal 5th house. I love the Vestal flame there because, you know, she's kind of the eternal maiden, celibate, single woman archetype. And in the house of romantic love, it can also mean that she wants you to spark up more of your own joy spark. You know, don't find your sensuality, pleasure, and your well-being through others. Find it through within your own joie de vivre, your joy of life. And, you know, finding that what makes you smile, what gives you joy, where's your inner child, where's your play, where's your pleasure. Vesta is asking you to fire up that part of your life. If you're not having any fun, and if life has no pleasure and you don't feel like you're like a little kid going yippee, well, Vesta's heating that territory up to bring sweetness and resolution there, helping counteract some of the tension of that moon. You can tangibly ground a lot of stuff in your reputation and work right now. You know, if you're a young person and you don't have work right now, then it's just how the world sees you, and you're becoming very sober minded, and like people are seeing you as more of a authority and more grounded and more authoritative in some way over the next couple of years as Saturn travels your 10th house. It's also very good for you rising in stature in workplaces and career ambitions. All right. Gemini, sun, moon, and ascendant, you're going to have this energy happening where the moon is shining in your 6th house of work and health protocols. Time to look at that, and the moon will shed light. If any of you Geminis have been having any issues with your health, the moon will show you what's going on and help you find a way to clarify and fix that. And if work has been troublesome, then, or there's things going on in your work environment or your place of employment, new light will be shone there as well, revealing something, particularly the 29th and the 30th, when the jolt of energy of the sun joining Uranus occurs, and you can see what is trying to really be revealed. Now, this is jolting from your deep unconscious, from the past lives, from your dreams at night, from the hidden place. This is all very tucked away, and you don't really see the stellium right now because you're sitting here, and you're blind to this part of the chart. So you're even blind to this part of the chart. So a lot of this could blindside you in the sense that whatever this unexpected jolt is for some of you Uranian folk around work or health protocols, it could be really out of the blue. For some of you Gemini folk, hygiene in your 3rd house of your friendships in the local neighborhood, trips and travel, and siblings. Also, if you do any selling and marketing or online platform stuff, you've got to clean that stuff up. Your website, your online course, etc. If you're learning in that environment, hygiene in that environment, clean it up, heal it, wellness 101. Vestal flame, tend the sacred flame over here in your 4th house. That sacred flame that needs to be tended is about the home. It's your domestic home. It's the hearth. Literally cook your own food at home. Make the kitchen a sanctuary. Vesta in the 4th is often common in the 10th or 4th house of professional chefs. At the very least, pay attention to your home life. Don't forget my Divine Timing Masterclass that you can sign up for. Check the description box below. We'll help you understand some of the larger sides. And I would love to teach you how to fish. So check it out, Geminis, you curious monkey folk who always are asking why, what, and where. Find your answers in my Divine Timing Masterclass. Check it out in the description box below. 4 weeks of learning with me live, and you keep the class forever. Cancer, sun, moon, and ascendant. You have a full moon, your natal 5th house of your romantic life, your projects and inspirations, your creativity, and the muse. For a lot of you, this could lead to a time of wanting to be inspired to be creative, but also to find pleasure and joy. And, the moon will shine brightly there and offer you that chance to see something. But maybe the 29th and 30th is when it bolts through and you really get your eyeballs on it, right? I also would encourage you to think about, your allies who are women, because with Venus in your 11th house of allies and friends as benefactors, women friendships can be really beneficial for you right now. And that's until the first week of May, maybe May 7th or 8th or so. And so, this jolt of energy could also have a female step up for a lot of you Cancer, sun, moon, or a sister, and to be of great service and help to you in some way. And you definitely want that, right? This is also great gains from your career financially. And you could get that as well in a jolt in the 29th and 30th. But also remember, play, fun, and pleasure, and joy, romance, and your children are also in the story. And your hygiene, you're cleaning up your 2nd house of your earnings and your day-to-day finances and your possessions. You might sell off a few things. You might declutter. You might do the Marie Kondo, does it bring me joy? You might also clean up your vocation, your voice. Maybe you have to really decide, what is my true voice in this world, my vocation? Where am I going to make money? What does money making matter and look like for me? Those are questions to clean up. You want to tend the sacred flame, though, of the 3rd house of your siblings, as well as you want to tend the sacred flame of the 3rd house of your local neighborhood and your environment that you live in the town or city, as well as any trips and travel that you may want to engage in. That's a sacred flame. It might be time for just a short trip if you can get anywhere in your COVID neighborhood. You're really trying to ground over the next 2 years your financial stability with your investments and your savings and your mortgages and stuff like that. Keep that in mind as well. And your taxes getting very stable here over the next couple of years. Leo, sun, moon, and ascendant. I'm going to pause the recording, be right back, guys. I need to just do something. Uh-oh, did I pause? I meant to pause in the middle of the Leo story. I'm going to get back to the Leos. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I didn't pause the recording. So I actually had myself, I am recording. Oh my God, I'm not going to edit this. Okay, back to where I was. I'm not going to edit this. Just leave it in, Lori. Does it really matter if you're goofy and all over the place? All right, so I'm back to you guys. Let me get this chart going again. I apologize for that. I had to just ping a client. And for some reason, I can't see what you guys are seeing. Why not? It's like the screen has just disappeared. Give me a minute. There it is. All right. So I was talking about Leo, sun, moon, and ascendant. So your fourth house of home, your domestic life, and the house of your family of origin, mom, dad, ancestors sometimes. This is all being lit up by this full moon. And don't forget, there's a spiritual star, the one that asks us to go inward and go deep on that moon. It can be the house of your mother, and you may go with the moon there into a deeper connection with your own literal mom over the next while. Even if your mom's not alive, then it's the memory of your mom, or it's your learnings from your mom. Okay, so the mom is featuring prominently on this moon for you guys. 3 days later, there's a jolt coming from the 10th house of career, the 10th house of reputation, and that Uranus sun happens on the 29th, 30th, as I said, and boom, there's some insight. Now that's tension between career and home as well, and comfort and domestic life versus outer life. Now, if you're aspiring, though, to have attention, a Uranus-Sun combination in the 10th house could be a viral video or a breakthrough in your reputation. So it could be very positive. I don't always look at it as a bad thing when Uranus gets going on a jolt of something, especially the 10th house. It can really light the sky up there. And, with Venus up there, too, the diva, and she's benefic, and Mercury, the messenger, this could be a nice little episode opening up for you after this moon of your reputation and your stature in the world being accelerated or amplified or heightened in some way. The hygiene that you need, the cleaning it up, energy is in your natal first house. This is the house of your body. I don't know what you guys are doing. Like, are you eating the wrong foods? You need to exercise more, but be physically hygienic and clean up the health and the body stuff. And also your own self-esteem and self-perception might need a little attending to as well. So it's time to focus on that body healing and wellness story, especially. You might also want to look at a healer. Sometimes a Hygeia in the first house means that somebody will be a healer for you. You may find a really great nurse practitioner or a doctor or a chiropractor or an acupuncturist or somebody else who really supports your health in this month ahead, especially maybe shortly after the moon as well, 3 or 4 days after. Maybe Uranus will give you an unexpected connection to some incredibly helpful healer. Now, you want to spark the fire of your money and earnings. Has it been ebbing? Have some of you Leos let the cash flow dry up? So are you tending your possessions? Are you polishing the silverware? Are you dusting the mahogany tables? And what are you, what do you need to tend in your possessions or in your financial flow? And so we want to fire that up. There's a call, there's a sacred flame of that area. This is your self-esteem and self-worth and self-possession. This is your voice as well in the world. So tend that flame, because that sacred flame does talk to this sun up here, right? In a trine, because your earnings in your career or your voice and your vocation and your work are asking for some sacred flame tending right now. Well, and you can be very tangibly successful in your marriage or significant other relationship over the next couple of years as Saturn's navigating your 7th, and he's also participating in this moon, kind of bringing actionable reality to partnerships in business and in your marriage story that have enduring, lasting legs to stand on. Okay, so don't forget, my Divine Timing Masterclass is coming up on May the 8th for 4 Saturdays. And I'm so excited. Check the description box below. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. I'd love to have you in class. I'd love your big boldness in my class. Please come join in. The class is yours. It's evergreen forever to keep after the class is done at my Podaya teaching site, where you'll always be able to go back and reference the content and use it again and again, even if you can't make the live class. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is going to be the energy of the Vestal flame. Oh, sorry, not starting with the Vestal flame. The energy of the full moon in your 3rd house of short trips and travel, siblings, your local neighborhood, online social media platforms and websites, and marketing and selling and stuff like that. Very busy, cadent 3rd house stuff. House of Oracles. Wow, the moon in the 3rd and its joy. You might consult the oracle in the days after this moon. See a psychic, see a seer, see an astrologer. And it would be very good for you because it'll shed light on something. And you can see that the sun in 3 days after, around the 29th and 30th, is going to send a jolt of energy to the moon. And, you know, through the Iranian unexpected aha moment. You know, this is a house of travel, of foreign lands, of higher education. Some of you, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, of your students in college or universities, kind of thing. This could be a sudden jolt of some information or news around your studies or your performance, maybe as well. I also feel like with Venus up there, it's all good news. It feels good. Like she's up there holding the fort, giving you good outcomes in that area. And it's also about truth and spirituality and God and soul. So for those of you who are looking for spiritual awareness, nothing like a jolt of Uranus up there. Once a year, the sun and Uranus will come together in that part of the chart for the next few years. So it's always going to be a good time for you to have a bit of spiritual illumination. Alrighty. So look forward to that possibility at the end of April. And you need to tend the hygiene thing in your own unconscious, subconscious dreams, anxieties, your thoughts, your worries, your dreams at night. I don't think the 12th house is often the place of, you know, what keeps you up at night, you know, and where you toss and turn on stuff. You're going to clean the hygiene of your own deep unconscious, subconscious mind in some way, because it's coming out of also karmic placement, the axis of karma, clean it up. And especially with Saturn over here, also in a karmic debt house, the 6th house. So right now, a lot of karma might have been running through your story. And now it's time to clean out the karma and clean up the karmic gutter and clean out your own subconscious and certainly your own, you know, sleepless nightsness and that kind of thing. Hygeia in the 12th house can bring wellness protocols as well to your life, you know, ending of addictions or cleaning up of habits that no longer serve you. I love the sacred flame in the house of the body. It's time to tend to your physical form. It's time to love your body up. It's time to take care of your body. It's time to nurture and nourish your body. And with the sacred Vestal flame there, it's what you cook. It's what you put on the home fires, what's in the hearth. It's not just the metaphor of tending the body, but it's also the idea that it's a fireplace, for goodness sakes. Hestia, keeper of the sacred flame of the fireplace, the hearth. So do you need to tend the hearth of what you eat by cooking or generating different foods in your kitchen? That's a thought. The thought for some of you Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants. Don't forget, check out my Divine Timing Masterclass. I'd love to have you guys there. It's going to be for the 4 weeks during the month of May, every Saturday, starting on the 8th, and you get evergreen access to this course forever if you can't make the actual classes. But if you can, it'd be great. We'll look at real charts of real people in the class, and you could be one of them as we talk about these 4 different techniques that you'll learn in 4 different classes. Come join in. Finally, last but not least, are the Libra, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants of the universe. You guys are looking at a money story here with the moon in your 2nd house of earnings, self-worth, and self-possession, and your possessions as well. Now, you could look at this as a blooming and a light that shines in the earnings and money house, which could be a good thing. The tension, the opposition from the sun has Venus involved in the house of your savings, bank loans, mortgages, investment strategies and stuff, inheritances. Venus will bring goodness. She is a goddess of currencies and money as well. If you've invested in Bitcoin, I'm not sure about Bitcoin though. I'm worried about that part of it. But the idea here is good things are happening in your money axis, really, and some fruition and fullness and fruiting in the house of your earnings. Something that you've been doing is coming into a fruiting for your cash flow and revenue. And maybe 3 days after, on the 29th, 30th, you'll have a bolt of insight, like a Uranian aha moment, that gives you an idea too, that gives you some clarity about a way to tend more fruitfulness in your revenue and financial stream. I think the hygiene has to be in your 11th house of your friends that are your allies. And it is great gains from your career as well. But I think it's more here for you guys. You're so busy on the earnings and money axis. Are you neglecting your allies and friends and those who would benefit you? Are you forgetting the spirit of the team and the tribe with whom you belong, not as the leader, but as a compatriot, as a member of something? Okay. So I want you to consider that you need to clean up some friendship hygiene, maybe. It's your hopes, dreams, and wishes. And if you let them languish or they've gone off kilter, your truest aspirations, can you clean that up a bit as well? Now, the sacred vessel flame is in a very Hygeia house, the 12th. So you may be tending a flame of your dreams at night, your meditations, your reveries, okay? So it's not a very tangible place. It's very, very subtle. And so I don't expect you to see the flame like literally. It's going inward, tending a sacred flame, finding where you want to generate something from deep within yourself that could have tangible results in the outer world, particularly in your romance house too. Saturn is trying to constellate something solid in romance or with your children, or if you have your own independent business in that area until March of 23. So, just keep that in mind too. I don't know, I'm just drawn to that Saturn in your 5th house. It makes you work hard and forget to play, right? And maybe you could find the joy in the play through your cleaning up your friendship houses. In a pandemic, we're all under this kind of isolation vibe, and I get that. But you could have virtual Zoom meetings with friends. I have a book club, on Fridays with two of my friends one of my friends from kindergarten and his wife, that kind of thing. So you can find ways to still find friendship and allies without having to go to each other's house. All right. Check out my Divine Timing Masterclass. Starts on May the 8th. I think it would be great for you, Libra, Sun, Moon, and Ascendants. I think you'll really, really like it. And you get to keep the course forever and ever and ever, even if you don't make every class. Okay. 4 different classes in Divine Timing. All right. So I'm going to say goodbye. Have you heard a dinging sound? That bell? Ding. That's my client. I got a client right now, so I'm going to go. All right. Yes. Scorpio, full moon. Bye, guys. Mwah. Check out Divine Timing Masterclass, and I'll see you there, I hope.